Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Yep, so were you able to get
right
15?
Pardon me?
Were you able to get 15 topic?
Yes. Did you want to hear them?
Yep, if you like.
Yep. So product name would be the profit formula. And the topics are the motivators, the formula, the mindset, next steps, how to apply. Just gonna actually put that in reverse order. And then psychology of sales, headlines, content, images, examples, target audience, advertising, marketing defined, network, content, public, actually I have more than 15, public relations and promotion.
Okay, so according to the formula, we had 75253. Now we have to go through the second step, and the second step we call it the elimination steps. So is there any topics you should eliminate from these topics?
Okay. Probably the psychology of sales, because that would be too heavy in an hour program.
Okay.
I could probably eliminate
or is there any topics you should be able to merge?
Right, yeah. Like, for example, the marketing defined would be networking. So hang on, so I'll do a merge. I would merge networking defined.
Okay.
With merge marketing defined.
Is there any? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So content. Okay, I'm ready.
And is there any topic you should split?
Any topic I should, pardon me?
Split.
Split. Okay.
Into two or more.
No.
Okay. Now, can you give them a logical order? Can you sort them in a logical order?
Okay, and then next step is to sort in logical order. Okay, yep, I did.
So how many topics do you have right now?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. Okay.
I could probably merge the, hang on. I might be able to merge the headline, content, image. So if I merge that, And I merged that, and I would have 1, 2, 3.
So let me just explain to Kevin the steps now. So Kevin, you have now the 15 topics, that's right?
Yeah.
So can you eliminate any topic? Can you read through them and see if you can merge 2 topics together? Can you read them and see if you can split them? Split any topic into 2 or more. And the last step in the distill stage is how you can sort them logically.
Okay.
Okay, so you can eliminate, merge, split, and then sort them. So Ranchel, how many topics do you have right now?
So if I merged a few topics, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Kevin, are you ready?
Yeah, I can collaborate at least. I can put together 2, takes out 4.
Okay, so you have 11. Now, in the validation side, if you can talk about each topic, why it's important for the audience to learn this topic, and how they can apply it in their business or on themselves. Can you spend 1 or 2 minutes on each topic to talk about that? Why it's important and how you can apply it. What is the application for it?
Sorry, what do you want us to do?
Like if you pick up each topic and you tell people why are you sharing this topic with them, why it's important, and the learning of this topic, how they will apply it.
Okay.
Yes, I could.
So how many minutes do you have right now in your talk? If you have 11 topic or 10 topics, how many minutes now you spend? If you spend average 3 minutes per topic talking about why and how people shall use it.
Then you have 30 minutes.
Okay. So creating content is not hard.
No.
With this formula, do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Do you agree, Kevin?
Yeah.
Now, if you see the chart on the screen, the validation part, you talk about why, how, and then under each topic, you should talk about what this topic will cover. So under this topic, you should be able to put 3 subtopics. So we don't have time to do it right now, but you should be able at least to pick up 1 topic in the middle. Don't pick up the first topic. And then see how, write down 3 subtopics. So Kevin, can you pick up any random topic you have on the sheet in front of you and write down what are 3 subtopics or 3 ingredients you would like to talk about?
Would that be why, how, what?
No.
Oh.
This should be the learning under this topic, right?
So,
and the same for you, Ranshel. Like, can you pick up a topic randomly and write down 3 subtopics which will be covered by this topic? Like, what are the 3 ingredients?
Okay. So, for example, if I pick networking, because that's one of my mixed topics, I merged it, right? But I could talk about objectives, where to network, and time management.
Yep.
or follow-up. I probably would pick follow-up on that one. Okay.
It doesn't matter what you pick up because the next exercise is the 3-2 exercise. So can you add 2 extra subtopics or 2 extra ingredients?
Mm-hmm.
So you already have 4. Okay, can you add the 5th one? Kevin, do you want to share your example?
Yeah, so I have gestures for
Okay.
public speaking. And three topics would be hands, the size of the room, and the effect that I want to have for the other people.
Okay, can you add 2 more ingredients?
Yeah.
Now, once you added this ingredient, you should be able to do the same exercise. You should be able to merge them into 4. Okay. Now, what will happen if you say, I cannot merge them into 4? It's much better because you have 5, that's right?
Yeah.
What will happen if you read the ingredient and say, this is rather be split into 2? It's even better because now you have 6 or 7 different ingredients you want to talk about. Make sense?
Kind of, sort of, but can you say that again, please, for me?
So when we partition our talk into topics and then come to each topic and talk about why and how, we already have 2 minutes per topic.
Mm-hmm.
We will partition what we should talk about under this ingredient, under this topic, and we call it ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with 3 ingredients per topic.
Right.
Then you added 2. So you have 5 in total. Can you read them and see if you should eliminate, merge, split these ingredients?
Right. Okay.
The last step will be to order them in a logical order. That's right.
Right.
And I will share with you quickly how you can talk about this ingredient. So if you find out you have more than 5 ingredients, this is great. If you find out that you only stuck with 3, it's not bad. If you can merge them into 4, it was the target to try to make it 4 ingredients, because 4 ingredients plus 2, which is why and how, will make it 6. 6 times 10 ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
If you speak on each one of these ingredients for 1 to 2 minutes, you can craft between 1 hour to 2 hours learning session.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense to you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's like 1 minute each topic, right?
1 minute each ingredient, not each topic. Remember, the ingredient are the component of the topic.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, per ingredient, you should, let me just share this one with you here. Per ingredient, can you answer any of these questions, which is what, why, when, who, where, whose, which? Per ingredient, can you pick up a story to cover this ingredient? So, for example, when you talk about the gestures and you talk about the size of the room, what kind of story you can share with people around the size of the room?
I can use example of leaders in history.
That's good. So if you look at the screen, if you can see the screen right now, if you come under the ingredient and you pick up a story, can you pick up an activity on this particular ingredient? Can
like
you
an action step? Action?
Yeah, activity activity like an action people can do. You don't need one activity per ingredient. Like you cannot have, if you have 60 ingredient, there is no way to have 60 activities. That's right.
Right.
Too much. However, if you plan to have some ingredients with some activities, this will give you flexibility over the content. So if you run out of time, you can cut activities. If you have more time, you can build activities. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you start with this formula and you also figure out what kind of images, videos, and interfaces you can use. So if I'm showing on an online system or whatever, I can basically share with people how my interface, how my application will look like. So if you can figure out for each ingredient these components, now you will be able to create content beyond 1 hour on any topic and on any title. Make sense?
It does. So your formula that you have, just want to clarify, when you're distilling this is we wrote down the product name and we wrote down 5 topics.
We wrote first, not 5 topics. Let me just stop sharing this. We wrote first benefits. So if I have for every course or every topic or every product name, if I have 4 benefits, my 5 topics, my 5 first topics should cover, each topic should cover at least 1 benefit, and I have the 5th element.
Okay, so each topic should cover.
That's right, Kevin?
A benefit.
Each topic covers 1 benefit?
In the first 5 topics,
right?
You should consider at least 1 topic will cover at least 1 benefit. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it shouldn't be hard if we pick up any product name, and if we design that from the product roadmap, we understand the benefit of this particular course. It's not hard to have 5 topics per product name.
Right. And then we wrote down 7 extra topics. This is kind of the formula. Then we eliminated.
No, and then after the 7, can you add 3 extra topics?
Ah, thank you.
So it's a 5-7-3 formula. And then you end up with 15 topics. If you want to distill these topics, you can eliminate, you can merge, you can split, and you should be able to organize or order them into a logical sequence.
Right.
So using this formula at this stage, you document 15 topics. When you distill them, you can end up with 7 back. Or you can end up with 11 topics or 10 topics.
Right.
Then the 3rd stage will be how to validate them. So how to validate that this topic should stay in your sequence? By convincing yourself, why should people learn about this topic? Then how they can apply this topic in their life, or how they can use it. Nothing wrong with saying, I will introduce you to this particular topic because it will help you understand the following topics.
Right.
Or the consequence topics, that's right? Nothing wrong with saying this sentence. However, if you cannot define how people will use this topic and why they need to learn it, this topic is not important.
Right.
Do you agree, Kevin?
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
If you have a topic and you cannot say why people need to learn this topic and how they can use it, the topic will not be important.
Yeah.
That's right?
Agreed. Yeah.
And we learn from adult learning that people need to know why and how they use it.
Yeah.
So this whole topic we talk about right now, you need to understand this formula to be able to create content. And once you realize the formula, you can apply it to any piece of learning you develop. Then, what are you covering under this topic? So you should come up with 3 different ingredients where this topic will cover. And these ingredients should explain the topic, because we are not selling here. Here we are delivering it, right? We are. This is a delivery session. This is not. It will have a call to action at the end. However, is not planned to be emotional selling process. That's right. Then from these topics, you have the 3+2, which basically is a formula to create 5 ingredients per topic. You should also consider merging the 5 topics into 4, or splitting them, or eliminating 1 or 2 of these topics, and you organize them in a logical order. So now you have average of 4 ingredients per topic. Make sense?
So would there be 15 topics total, right?
You should start around 15 topics total.
With 4 ingredients each topic.
Yeah, but you can also merge them. I don't know how you merge them. So the examples we did in the 6-hour training, because this we had more time than just this overview, people actually merge them to average of 7. So they start at 15 and they found out that they have 7 logical topics on the average. So it doesn't matter how many topics you have. What matters is you have a set of logical topics. So if you have 15 times 4 is 60 ingredient. Make sense?
Yeah.
Ranchel, make sense to you?
Yes.
Now, the next step is how to create a content relevant to the ingredients. So one of the formula, which is, let me just stop sharing here and then share this one again. So one of the ways to fill the ingredient with content is to first answer any of these red questions. Like answer 3 of this question, like what's this ingredient about, how, why. So you establish a question started with what, how, why, when, who, whose, which around this ingredient. And then you should be able to make this question, answer it as a big statement. So this will create 3 sentences, literally, to describe this ingredient. That's right. Then from these 3 sentences, you should be able to drive a story on this particular ingredient, because people will only understand with the story. Using this story, you can also design an activity around this ingredient. You can also define a conclusion for this ingredient. You can also find a testimonial rationale to this ingredient. Like, for example, if I have a formula on profit margins, for example, increasing profit margins will help you increase your revenue. So you can have a testimonial of somebody who used this ingredient and said, yeah, and I achieved that much. I triple my business because I start to watch the margins. This is one example. What kind of images, what kind of videos, what kind of computer interface or applications you can also show to describe this ingredient. If for each ingredient you can have the three big statements, at least one story, and the conclusion, maybe an activity, might be a testimonial, you are already in the 3 to 5 minutes per ingredient now. That's right?
Right. Can you explain the conclusion again? I've missed that.
Like, the conclusion is basically you summarize what you describe in the ingredient.
Okay.
So if we start with given numbers, 15 times 4 is 60, which is 1 hour, times 5 minutes per ingredient. The course now is how long? It's 5 hours. That's right.
Right.
And if I pick up 3 ingredients and have a 10-minute activity inside this ingredient, the course now is 5 hours and a half. Does it make sense to you, Kevin?
Yeah.
5 hours and a half. Remember, we did not give introduction. We did not give call to action to the next steps.
Right.
So if you add introduction and the call to action, the question goes back to Kevin and say, can you literally design a 3 days workshop?
Right.
I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this kind of, so this is some of the examples of the 6 hours training sessions we have, because when people come, they basically can design 4 or 5 ingredients, and then they can build their own content. So what do we have tomorrow in the working session is part 2 of this particular training. So if you want to design a new content and new videos, I shared with you a formula where you can start. If you have 10 ingredient times 5 is 50, 10 ingredient times 4 is 40 ingredient. Each one of these ingredient will have like 4 to 5 component to it. So you can easily speak between 4 to 6 hours on any topic.
I like how you broke it down into a process.
It's all process. And by the way, I also shared, which I'm not having time to share today, I also shared with them, there is a logic you can have. So all what you need to memorize is the titles of the ingredients. That's it. And you can actually talk the 6 hours without notes.
Yes, exactly.
Because if the ingredients are systematically built, how, why, and when, you can basically answer these questions on each ingredient. If you remember the stories you have, you can share the stories. So you don't need to have notes. You can literally stand for 3 hours, for 6 hours, for 3 days using this formula without notes. And if you have a workbook, you will run them through component or pieces of the workbook, so you will not have your own notes. So basically, you are not doing citation. You are not reading what you are telling them.
I just have to memorize the ingredients.
You just have to memorize, yes, the ingredients.
Okay.
And now, what will happen if you did not have them in a specific order? Does it matter?
It does.
Not. You'll find out it's not necessary.
Yeah, it will be okay.
It will be okay, because at the end of the day, you have 5 or 7 or 10 ingredients. So if you apply this formula and design, let's design, if you design 1 hour talk, you should design 40 minutes of content. That's right. You should always design 2/3. If you design half an hour talk, you should cover 20 minutes of content only. Because there is interaction, there is a question and answers, and so many other materials, right? So if you want to use this formula and apply it for like 1 hour keynote speech, so the target now is to define 40 minutes. That's right?
Right.
So how many ingredients you should cover in 40 minutes? if you speak 3 to 5 minutes, or let's call it 4 minutes average per ingredient. So all what you need is basically 10 ingredients. That's right. 40 minutes divided by 4 minutes per ingredient will be 10 ingredients.
10 minutes. Got it right.
10 ingredients, right?
Yeah.
So how many topics you can cover over 10 ingredients? If I will say 2 to 3 topics per ingredient, sorry, 2 to 3 ingredients per topic, you should be able to cover 3 topics maximum.
Right. Yeah.
And under each topic, you should have 2 to 3 ingredients. That's right, Kevin? So if you start from 3 topics, per topic you add 2 to 3 ingredients. That's right?
Right.
So you literally, let's call it 3 ingredients per 3 topics. So now you have 9 ingredients in total. You speak about 4 minutes per ingredient. This is our 36 minutes or roughly 40 minutes. If for every topic you say why this topic is important and how people apply it, how they can use it, and this is the reason for you to share it with them, and then you answer 3 legitimate questions like what, when, who, and you tell a story per ingredient. So you end up telling like 9 stories in 40 minutes. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a question about the 2/3. Because I heard you say the content should be 2/3 of the session, right?
Yes.
What if it was similar to your style of workshop when everyone's sharing?
That's why you need to have the 2/3, because everybody sharing is like question and answers. Anybody will do reflection at the end.
Yeah.
So that's why I say like if it's 1 hour, 2/3 it will be a good estimate, because one of the activity is everybody will share. That's right. So you have to be careful. Don't overload the audience with too much content. And I can share with you a story, if you allow me. Early on, when I started the program, we had the Win Your Authority. So the idea is you have a tree structure and you have a system where you go and explore your authority. So I developed the content for it. I used my algorithmic techniques from computer science background, and I made them simple for people to understand, no jargoning and graphics and stuff like that. And I came into the course will be 8 hours at the time. I only covered less than 5% of my content. Less than 5%. Because the minute I put these first 2 ideas to the board, everybody got excited and they want to apply it. And if you apply one step, how you can teach others? By basically sharing, that's right? So I let the workshop to be led by the audience. So they start to share and exchange ideas, and the time went by. So I learned from this particular day that I developed too much content. And the audience don't need the content, they need just to know how to apply the simple content. They don't need to have this sophistication. So this is what drove me early on to figure out a systematic technique or a formula where I can basically get content out in a logical way. People will connect with stories, people will connect with testimonials, people will connect with activities. And one of the common activities is, do you guys like to share? That's right?
Right, yeah.
People at the end like to reflect, because reflecting is one of the pedagogies for education.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. Any questions?
No, not from me.
I'm curious, Whale. So with all the training courses you've led and you've been to, what are the key learning lessons you've learned from leading them?
They must like it, they must be entertained, and they must always get values out of it. And the value is not in the amount of knowledge. Remember when you told me I want to revamp the whole content, I told you don't revamp the content yet. Let's just first design the course and let's talk, because I wanted to give you this particular content of today.
Yeah.
So if you if you design a course, you should respect that people will not appreciate lots of content. They must appreciate how they apply the content and why they need to learn it.
Why? Okay. And applying.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So how will you apply this topic? Like, if you want to reflect on what we discussed right now, how will you apply it?
I think I would structure my upcoming course in the 2/3 way. I'll find ingredients and just plan it based on how long the session is, and to also have to talk about the why. Why is this leadership lesson important? How can it be applied to you and I?
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Good. Ranchelle, how will you apply this learning?
Oh, I had to unmute myself. Well, for me, I know that in order to get people to my workshop, or to the retreat, I need to take some components of what I know, and do workshops. So this allows me to take the profit formula, which I've always done it in shorter workshops, but I can actually take that one topic and have a 6-hour workshop, which is great, because then that can lead them to the next, like following me to the next steps.
Yep, and the 6 hours workshop will be like, this is a 1-day workshop, that's right?
Right, yes, absolutely. Yeah, which is great. And then which will help me as I move forward in this, so my ultimate goal is to do the retreats, in a tropical setting. Yep. And then do the masterminds, as well. And so applying this workshop will allow me to do the workshop, bring them into a mastermind beforehand, if that's what I desire to do, and then the retreat, or vice versa. And I haven't made a decision as to how that's going to weigh out. I'm not attached to that, whether it's the masterminds first, then the retreat, or the retreat, then the mastermind, or a combination of both. I'm just leaving that open to how that's supposed to pan out.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I can certainly see how I can now take this and start advertising. Between this and the product sheet roadmap, I'll be able to create the advertising around it to get people to get butts and seats, right? Which you and I both know that's a challenge.
Yep, and we don't like to call them butts and seats, but getting audience to listen to it, it's one of the major challenges. So yeah. And so I was talking to someone the other day, and it's
She said, never try to sell an event, never try to fill an event, right? Just talk about your solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hit their pain points and find the audience that's in that pain. Right. Rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Good.
Okay. So, is there any other outstanding questions for these sessions, or do you like to conclude early for the further day today?
Yeah, I'm okay to do that.
Yeah, me as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I will send you the schedule out. We're supposed to meet again in 2 weeks on this kind of format, like hopefully 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If we have more individuals, it will be a more learning experience.
Right.
And I will share with you also the 6 hours format next week, so people are not in Calgary. Kevin, both of you, if you'd like to come tomorrow for the 6-hour training from 10 to 4, more than welcome.
Okay.
And, see you next time.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a great weekend, or I guess Sunday.
You too.
Thanks. Right on. Bye.
Oh, also, Whale, I had a question, brother. I'm getting, I can't log on to the website. So can you help me? I just need some help logging on.
Sure. It's actually the username and password are your email. Kevin at Warrior.
Okay.
So, can you see my screen now? Let me. Edit. So it's Kevin at warriorleadership.ca.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna click the link now. Click it. Here, let me share my screen quickly. So there. Okay. All right. So this is what I got from you, right?
Yep.
Oh. What's the password?
It's the same as email.
Oh, same one?
Yeah.
The phone is gonna cut out soon.
I am not a robot.
Yeah.
Login. Did you change the password?
Yeah, some numbers came up.
What do you mean some numbers came up?
It, when I clicked it, it was a bunch of letters.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So, log on, chat. So, can you this is the same email, that's right?
Yeah.
Can you try again now?
Okay. Oh.
So go to Win Your Brand, go to the website.
Wait.
You can update your profile if you like. Go to Win Your Brand.
Copyright
Visit the
2017
site.
Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless when your brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.